as many of you guys know, this is my first Class C RV. This is actually my first camper ever. I had a junk camper trailer, 32-foot Prowler, piece of junk, fell apart. Regret that very much. I bought it for cheap during COVID. Didn't work out. This is my first nice thing that I've ever had like this, and I am learning along the way, and I want to share what I've learned along the way with you. And this video is specifically about the tires that came with this machine. So we will zoom in here and take a look. These are Hankook brand tires. They have, I would say, very good siping for the fact that these are just highway tires. And I want to talk about their specific performance after driving it now. I've had it 600 miles or just less than 600 miles. And I want to share how it's doing. I have not gotten it in snow yet. The biggest thing that I was concerned about was rain. And when it started pouring with at least 180 miles left in the trip, I was a little bit concerned in that moment that it first started happening. Because even though I've driven a lot of things and driven a lot of miles, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles at this point, towing, something big like this, even with that kind of experience, still gives you kind of like a pause. You don't know everything. I know I don't know everything, and there's things that I still can learn. Let me share with you what I've learned about these tires. The siping and evidently their ability to channel water out. My concern when I first looked at them is there's not a whole lot of places for the water to go. I generally like to see a tire that has periodic cuts to allow the water to escape out the sides. This gap, though, that goes radially along the outside here, is quite wide, quite deep. And I think that that's why this tire is able to expel water so well. I had no feelings of hydroplaning, no concerns at all when I was driving this in, I would call, fairly decent rain. The traction from the rear was excellent for cornering. Traction from the front is excellent for cornering. The tires didn't feel squeamish when you went over bumps and you came. So like if you have a hill and you come down the bottom, and that little bottom part that sometimes you feel your stomach drop a little bit as you come down. Not come down, I guess, but as you're continuing and transferring to the more upward direction. I kind of expected them to feel a little bit squeamish and loosey-goosey. I did not feel that at all with this. Even on what I thought would be hard transitions, the front end remained tracking straight, even if there was a bump in the road at the same time that all the weight would kind of be transferring from a rise to a fall, or a more normal, I guess, to bottoming out if you want. I was amazed at how smooth that transition was with these tires, even in the rain. So those of you guys in the process of looking at purchasing an E450 base chassis cab, whether you're on, I assume, an ambulance and anything else, is all going to be on these same deals, like a stake truck setup or whatever the heck you're buying. And potentially most commonly sold, the E450 setup is probably going to be a Class C camper like this. I would say after, being a tire snob, knowing exactly how a tire should feel when you're under load and performing in different things. I have not driven this in the snow, so that'll be a whole separate conversation how these things do in the snow. But at least in the rain, and at least on dry ground. Now, granted, it is cool now here in Michigan. It's not summertime. When it's hot again, or maybe when I get down south this wintertime, we'll learn a little bit how they do in hot weather. We will learn about how they wear in hot weather. The tires have 600 miles on them. It appears that all the little molding nubbies are off of them, but they don't show any significant wear. And if you do have cupping on either side, especially with an E-Series platform, because they are like a twin traction beam setup, they're different. They're a swing setup as opposed to like an independent front suspension or a solid axle. You can have, if your geometry isn't set up quite right in the front, you can cup the outside parts of the tires. We will keep an eye on that. If you were to put a lift kit on it or something like that, with any, like Rangers are more commonly lifted, or an older F-150 or whatever with this style of suspension, you can definitely have major cupping issues because you've changed caster and toe so much. And during the suspension travel, toe tends to fluctuate a little bit as the suspension moves up and down with this style design. Can you feel that a little bit? I think that you can. If you have a lot of suspension change with this front end as it is sitting stock. You can feel in the wheel that there is a little bit of toe change going on as the suspension moves through its travel. It is not enough to feel uncomfortable. It is not enough to throw off anything. And I think the biggest thing is that you're correcting the vehicle. You're not trying to overdrive the vehicle. You're correcting it and allowing it to continue down the path that it kind of wants to go, but with your corrections. And if you drive one of these like that, I think that you're going to be very rewarded on how easy it is to drive. If you're constantly trying to keep it riding down an exactly fine line that you've drawn with a little teeny fine tip pencil down the road, you might find yourself a little bit maddened about that, because the reality is that it's going to move around a little bit of wind, a little bit of ground differences and things like that. It's going to move around a little bit, and that's kind of a truck thing. If you're coming from a car and then driving something like this, I think you're going to find that is a little more annoying for you, and it could even lead you to have a little bit more lack of confidence with driving something like this. But being that I drive a lot of trucks is kind of what I expected. And so you should expect it drives a lot like a truck with a lot of load on it, which it's a truck with a lot of load on it. And with that very scientific conclusion, I want to conclude this very quick video talking about these tires. I think that they work extremely well and on this application. And I would definitely recommend them to other people if you have to get a new set of tires. At least so far, initial impressions, very good. Tire wear, don't take any of my word for it because I don't know yet. And also, snow performance, I don't know yet. We will find out. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more about this truck as I have it longer and go on more trips. There's going to be far more, hopefully, long-distance camping trips in this truck, and probably some historical-based trips too. So if anybody has any interest in history, I love history. I love sharing information and going to historical places and things like that. We will definitely be planning on doing that with this. On the things I want to do, take my daughter to go see all the Revolutionary and Civil War battlefields, and definitely hit things like the Georgia Sea Turtle Sanctuary, among other things like that. So there's going to be, we're definitely going to try and get out west. My daughter I haven't ever seen Yellowstone. I've seen Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone, things like that. I would like to go see the Redwoods at some point. Like, I didn't get this for it to sit around. I'm planning on driving this thing all over the place. So we will learn as time goes on how these Hankook tires hold up, and how this E450 chassis holds up, and then how this east to west Forest River camper holds up. So if you want to see things like that, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you see more recent videos and my normal content of working with driving my truck, pulling trailers with it, maintaining the 7.3, and now we have another 7.3 to maintain, which is cool. And working with equipment, working on trees, land work, all that stuff. That will all continue too. Don't worry about that. So normally scheduled programming plus some extra. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.